Ladies and gentlemen, please, Yusif Barakat.
I wanted to say I'm not the 11-year-old, but I guess she gave it away. It was 8:30 on a cold January day in the year 2008 in Pinckney, Michigan. I just got out of bed, put my robe on, the kind that flows over onto the floor, with a skull cap that matches it, and was going downstairs to brush my teeth, and the doorbell rings. Nobody visits me unannounced, especially that time of morning, so instead of brushing my teeth, I just went to the front door. And there's these two very well-dressed gentlemen that flashed their badges, said FBI. I said, okay, what can I do for you? They said, we'd like to talk with you. Now, I've been told by many friends, including some lawyer friends, that you should never let the FBI in your house unless they have a court order. But being the Arab hospitality that I grew up with, I said, of course, man, come on in. So they came in, I asked if they want some coffee and Arabic sweets, and they declined it all. So they sat on my sectional couch, two of them side by side, shoulders touching, and I'm on the other one, sitting this way, so my knees were almost touching the one guy there. I said, what's this about, gentlemen? They said, we have reason to believe that you are a threat to American security. I started laughing. And they said, you're laughing. They expect me to be shaking or worried or scared or something. I said, of course I'm laughing. That's ludicrous. I said, who told you that? They said, we can't tell you that. I said, man, this proves to me that we live in a fascist society. So the one guy looked down at his shoes, and he said, we're not wearing high boots. I said, oh, they didn't tell you. They changed the uniform. It's now suits and neckties. So they began by asking me where I work. I said, I'm clinical program manager at Maxie Boyce Training School in Whitmore Lake. He said, where were you born? I said, I was born in Haifa, Palestine, at the foot of Mount Carmel on the Mediterranean Sea on August 21st, 1935. So they began to ask me some questions, and I would jump up and get a book to open, and there were books on my card table, and I said, look around you. I said, you see doves hanging from the ceiling? You see posters all over, peace posters? I said, I've spent a lifetime in peace activism. I pointed to one poster on the wall that had a big Mandela wheel, colorful Mandela wheel, and it had all 11 religions and one blank in case you didn't fit into the 11. And on the bottom of the picture, it had in 18 languages, the first line in English, there will be peace on earth when there's peace amongst the world religions. And in Arabic was the second line, عندما يكون سلام بين الأديان سيعيم سلام في الأرض. I pointed to another brochure. I told him in 1979, I was the general manager for the Symposium on Humanity. It was a 3-day weekend. There's a couple of people here tonight that attended that. I said, our motto was people ahead of profits, humanity ahead of economics. I said, we had 4,000 people come to that weekend at University of Detroit. I told them I go down to Oak Ridge, Tennessee several times to oppose nuclear weapons, that I go to Fort Bennings, Georgia several times to help close the School of the Assassins, that I've spent many hundreds of times training people for the Michigan Peace Team in peace and nonviolence. I said, I don't understand why you're here investigating me. So at about the tail end, he started to say, well, what do you think of Obama? I said, oh, gentlemen, I'm glad you asked me about Obama. I said, in 1970, I was elected and serving as county commissioner in Oakland County. And in 1972, because I was gerrymandered out of my seat, I decided I'm going to go big, and I ran for the U.S. Congress from Royal Oak, Madison Heights, that whole enclave in Oakland County. And I said, if fate would have it that I would have been elected as a U.S. congressman, I would have been the first Palestinian in Congress. And I would have gotten so much national attention, international attention, I would have made it my point to go to the Middle East many times and enforce and bring peace to the Middle East. I said, by then I would have been elected to the Senate, and if by then I was in the Senate and got all this publicity, I could have run for president instead of Obama. And if fate would have it, I could have become your boss. I would have been the commander-in-chief in charge of people like you. So one guy says, oh, that's crazy, you can't do that. You weren't born in America. I said, oh, what I didn't tell you was that my father was here earlier in his life, around World War I, and he became a citizen. My mother came from overseas, and she and my father got married here. My older sister was born here, and then for some reason they picked up and went to Palestine. I was destined to be born in the Holy Land. I said, and at the time that we came back here in August of 1947, I was a natural-born citizen, not naturalized. So I said, at Ellis Island, where I landed on my 12th birthday, I used to be a shepherd boy in Palestine. I used to cross the Jordan River on horseback as a child. And here I am on my 12th birthday on a ship that landed at Ellis Island. Here's this 12-year-old shepherd boy that couldn't speak English, could barely see over the railing of the ship. And there's the Statue of Liberty and the New York skyline. It's like taking you into some place, outer space. I said, but I'm proud to be a Palestinian, because even if I wasn't a Palestinian, I would still declare myself a Palestinian, because in solidarity with the Palestinian people. I said, I'm not of color, but I declare myself to be in solidarity with people of color. I'm not a woman, but I declare myself to be in solidarity with women. I said, that's not the issue. I said, another thing happened at Ellis Island. My little sister, she was at the time we came here, was 1 year old. And in the past, every time one of us was born, my father would go to the American embassy and register us as American citizens. Well, there wasn't time because of the hostilities, and nobody was available when she was born to go do that. She wasn't on the paperwork. So here we are at Ellis Island, and the man is saying, this baby is not on the papers, she can't come in. And of course I couldn't understand, but I could see what's going on. And my mother said, no, we Americans, we go to Michigan. He says, no, you can't. She said, what we do? He said, go back home. She said, we have no home, we're refugees. He said, I don't care, she can't come in. She said, oh, she can't come in? No, but we can come in? She said, yes, You and the boy and the two girls, yes, you can go in. But baby, no. She took the baby, kissed her, laid her in his lap, grabbed our hands and walked away. Lady, come back. It's okay. Yeah, baby can go. When I do training for the Michigan Peace Team, one of the parts of the training is on empowerment. And I tell that story about self-empowerment, what it takes sometimes to overcome that. Another strange thing happened at Ellis Island. They said, what's his name? And they said, Yusif. So they said, that's Joseph. So what's his middle name? Ilyas, like the Elias brothers, Ilyas. So they gave me Lewis. So I grew up in Highland Park in the 50s as Joe Louis. Well, it began to get towards the end, and I didn't answer them, so I thought I'd better say something about Obama. I said, I'm really proud that Obama is running, and I hope he wins. And I think it's time we took away all this prejudice. I gave them my card, and on my card in the front, it has the globe of the earth, and it says all one people. And on the back of my card, I have 3 mottos: do no harm, be of service, cooperate, not compete. So I told them a little bit about Obama, and I decided I should make a point. So I told them a story about a Native American chief, Indian chief. This chief brought his grandson. He said, grandson, there are 2 wolves that live inside each of us. The one wolf is bad, is mean, is angry, is violent. The other wolf is good, is kind, is generous, is loving. And they both vie for our attention. So the grandson says, which wolf wins, grandfather? So I asked them, which wolf wins? And of course they stumbled and stuttered. And I said, the one you feed. So they ended the session. I'm walking them out the door. They're on the driveway walking towards their car, and one turns around, and I still had my hand on the door before I closed it. And the one turned around and said, we're so sorry we came so much of your time. We must have been misled. I said, oh no, I'm glad you came, gentlemen. So they both turned around and looked. You are? I said, yes, I'm glad you came. It gives me one more opportunity to persuade 2 more Americans in the way of righteousness.